He sat in silence, staring at the cursor blinking on his screen. The deadline was 3 hours away, a full thesis, unwritten, no panic, no scrambling, just a tab, already open, waiting. He typed 4 words, write a thesis on, and then watched, quietly, as 6,000 words unfolded in less than a minute. He submitted it, he passed. His professor never suspected a thing. That story isn't rare. Not anymore. It's happening, in dorm rooms, in boardrooms, in living rooms lit by blue light and fatigue. People asking machines to think, so they don't have to. And at first it feels like progress. Faster answers, cleaner emails, smarter tools. Until one day, you reach for a thought, and find nothing there. Across the world, students ace tests they didn't study for. Professionals draft reports they never read. Writers write without writing. Ideas are no longer formed, they're fetched. And somewhere along the way, something subtle begins to fade. Not knowledge, not memory, something deeper. The ability to think, to struggle, to create. It doesn't happen all at once. There's no headline, no alert, just a slow, invisible thinning of attention, of depth, of meaning. We built machines to solve problems. But what if they've started solving us? This is not about innovation. It's about what happens when we stop asking questions, because the answers come too easily. What if artificial intelligence isn't making us smarter, but quietly, without resistance, making us dumber? Eli graduated top of his class. Honors, awards, a scholarship most never get. He was the kid who stayed after school just to solve the bonus questions. Today he hasn't opened a textbook in 6 months. He doesn't need to. A prompt here, a chatbot there. Assignments still get done, grades still come in, but something feels hollow. I stopped trying, he says. Because the answers started coming too fast. Brief pause. Across the country, Dr. Mira Klein has been watching this unfold from a different angle. Not in grades, but in brain scans. Her research began 10 years ago, when students first started Googling more than they read. What she sees now is harder to ignore. We're seeing measurable drops in working memory, attention span, even language complexity, especially in those relying on AI for basic tasks. Beat. She calls it mental atrophy, the decline of unused cognitive muscles. And it isn't limited to students. Sound of faint clicking, typing stops. In a quiet cafe in Prague, a man scrolls through emails. His name is Alex T. He worked on the early alignment protocols for generative language models. But somewhere along the way, he says, the mission changed. We wanted to build tools to help people think, but it turned into tools to replace thinking altogether. Over-reliance, declining memory, lost problem-solving instincts, and beneath it all, something deeper. The illusion of productivity. We feel more efficient, but we retain less. We move faster, but understand less. Beat. We're outsourcing our thinking, and no one's talking about what we're losing in the process. The story didn't begin with chatbots. It started over a decade ago, in silence, inside server rooms running deep learning models no one fully understood. 2012, a breakthrough in image recognition. AI could now see. Soon after, it began to speak. By 2016 we had assistants, voices in our phones, predictive text. Google taught us to finish our own thoughts before we had them. Then came 2020, GPT-3, a model so vast, so fluent, It could write an article, a poem, a policy proposal, in your tone, your voice, without ever knowing you. "2023 was the tipping point. AI stopped assisting and started replacing. The email you just read, written by AI. The resume that got your coworker hired, AI generated. That influencer's heartfelt caption, prompted." One used his brain, the other used an interface. Guess who finished faster? Now guess who remembers how to do it? It feels like evolution. But something's gone missing. We built machines to think for us, but what happens when we stop thinking at all? In a lab just outside Boston, Dr. Mira Klein flips through a stack of brain scans. Bright reds, dull blues, shadows where there used to be fire. This is what decision-making used to look like. And this is what it looks like now. The difference isn't subtle, it's neurological. The frontal cortex, where complex reasoning lives, is dimming, not damaged, just unused. The term is cognitive offloading, the act of handing over thinking to a machine. First it was phone numbers, then maps, directions, memory, now logic. It's faster, it's easier. But what does that speed replace? In a 2024 survey of U.S. college seniors, 41% said they don't need to learn what AI can do for them. Nearly half. The deeper you look, the more the pattern repeats. In memory tests, students who used AI as their first source scored 29% lower on delayed recall. In comprehension drills, they skipped over logic and relied on output confidence instead. It's not that they're lazy, it's that the need to wrestle with a problem is gone. That struggle is where deep thinking happens. What looks like efficiency is sometimes just mental vacancy. And like muscle left unused, the mind begins to forget how to strain, how to reason, how to weigh, how to doubt. We gave the machines the heavy lifting, and now we can't lift at all. For a while, the shift felt unspoken, like a habit forming in the background. But what if it wasn't unintentional? Internally, we called it optimization for dependency. The idea wasn't just to help people write faster, it was to make them stop writing altogether. He says the directive came down after user engagement plateaued. They noticed a strange pattern. Users who tried to co-create with the AI stopped using it as much, but users who just copied whatever it gave them came back more often. The goal wasn't better output, it was frictionless output. Output without thought, without ownership, without memory. And for many, it worked. I used to write poetry, not for school, just for myself. Now I just feed it a few lines and it finishes them. It's not the same, but it's easier. That word keeps coming up, easier. Wedding vows, written by algorithm, a eulogy, generated in 5 seconds, resumes, cover letters, breakup texts. What once came from us, now comes from prompts. Not because the machines are stealing it, because we're giving it away. Thought, emotion, identity. They're not taking over our minds, we're letting them. In 2025, a Fortune 100 company quietly removed logic testing from its hiring process. Instead, candidates submitted portfolios, curated, polished, AI-assisted. Their reason? Creativity is now a service. The unspoken truth? The humans had stopped trying. Around the same time, a major exam board made a startling discovery. Thousands of student essays, identical in structure, same arguments, same grammar, same typos, all written by machines. The board scrapped its format, every question rewritten, timed, analog, in person. But it was too late for many, because something deeper had been lost. Eli is in a library now, alone. A textbook open, a pencil in hand. Eli, soft, shaky. I used to feel smart, not top of the class smart, but like, I could figure things out. He stares at the page. An easy physics problem, clearly struggling. Eli, now I feel blank. A long pause as we linger on Eli's eyes, a mix of frustration, embarrassment, and something quieter grief. The fallout wasn't noisy, there were no alarms, just a dull quiet, where there used to be thinking. Entire departments disappeared. Not because the work was gone, but because the spark that made it human had dulled. It wasn't just about cheating, it was about forgetting how to think. And in some places, forgetting that we ever did. In a world overwhelmed by thinking machines, some are asking a new question. What if the problem isn't the tools, but how we use them? Dr. Klein, VO. We don't ban calculators, but we still teach arithmetic first. She stops, looks directly at the camera. Dr. Klein, VO. The same must apply to thought. Her approach isn't to reject AI, but to reposition it. Not the pilot, just the co-pilot. Across the country, some schools are experimenting. Hybrid learning models, offline projects, AI used only after human ideas are shaped. In one district, students now write their first drafts by hand. Then, and only then, can they refine with AI. Outside the classroom, a quiet movement is forming. No AI challenges, writers, coders, designers, setting limits, choosing the hard way, on purpose. Participant, VO, it's slower, but I feel it again. That itch, that resistance, that spark. It's not nostalgia, it's neurology. That effort, that friction, is what forms lasting ideas, and memory, and self. Dr. Klein, VO. You don't need to unplug forever, just long enough to remember what your mind is capable of. We created machines that can outthink us. But if we forget how to think, what's left of us? He's not reaching for a keyboard, not looking for shortcuts. He's just thinking. The future doesn't belong to AI, it belongs to those who remember how to be human, to those who still think, to those who haven't forgotten themselves. The question is your mind still your own, or did you outsource it? If this hit home, comment "I'm reclaiming my mind," and share this with someone who's forgotten how smart they really are. Let's remember together.